Actor Kelsey Grammer, best known for his iconic role as Dr. Fraser Crane, would become one of the most successful actors in the history of television.
My mom and dad didn't do so well in their marriage. My mom moved back with her parents when I was around 2.5, maybe 3 years old. Gordon and Gam, that's what we called them. They assumed the mantle of, raising me and my sister. And after Gordon died, my grandmother and I became very close. She was possibly the biggest influence in my life. And I'd like to know more. I'm most interested in finding out more about my grandmother. She was born Evangeline Dimmock.
Let's take a look at Ancestry.com, where we'll look for census records.
There's my grandmother. Evangeline says granddaughter, 4 years old.
4 in 1910.
That's her mom, Genevieve. So Genevieve is my great-grandmother. But my grandmother's father is missing, Mr. Dimmock.
Well, I think we've mined everything from this one. We can go for the 1920 census. We're in San Francisco at this point.
We are in San Francisco. There's Evangeline there. She's 14 at this time.
That's right.
And it says niece. So she's living with her uncle. And, there's Genevieve, my great-grandmother. So she's 37 now, is now divorced. But we still don't even know when he was there or when he wasn't there. Charges made by wife, neglect and desertion are the grounds for a suit for divorce filed today by Mrs. Genevieve Marriott Dimmock against Ellis L. Dimmock. So his name is Ellis. She was probably pregnant when they got married with my grandmother because Gam was born in 1905. 8 years later, she files for divorce. I'm curious to know why my great-grandmother waited 8 years before divorcing her husband.
We were actually able to find the document that's the final decree of divorce. By the time that Genevieve files for divorce, her parents are no longer alive. Maybe while her parents were alive, she didn't want to file, or maybe they didn't want her to file for divorce.
Yeah.
Also, it may be that she doesn't want the stigma. Well, we were able to find more information on Genevieve.
Well, so this is her death certificate. Genevieve Fultz. So she did remarry. Principal cause of death, cirrhosis of the liver. So it looks like Genevieve was an alcoholic. To die at 52, cirrhosis of the liver.
Yeah.
She clearly had, a real serious problem. That explains a lot of why my grandmother talked about how her mother wasn't really in her life. Or maybe she and Ellis just hooked up on a drunk one night and
Could be.
get married. Maybe he thought it was the right thing to do. I don't know. But then he just split. I mean, he's the mystery in this. I don't know who he is. To find out that Genevieve had died basically of alcoholism is a thing that resonates with me, and I've certainly had my own experiences with that issue. It's a sad end.
I have some things here that might shed a little light on Ellis, and I'm just going to let you sort through it here.
Okay, great. He joins the Marines when he's 29. Authorized to enlist Ellis L. Dimmock. Waiving marriage. What the hell does that mean?
He has declared that his spouse, Genevieve,
Right.
is not dependent upon him economically, and therefore all of his salary will come to him. That's his service record.
Right.
AOL means away over leave. Essentially, he was late reporting from leave.
Right. AWOL. He just took off. Charged as undesirable, private, because of habitual AOL and excessive use of intoxicants. Character, bad. Well, I guess that pretty much sums it up about Ellis, doesn't it? Death certificate. He was 60 years old, arteriosclerosis, and due to natural causes. There's Dad, Joseph Dimmock from Iowa, and his mom, Mary F. Critchbaum from Ohio. I'm surprised to see that my 2 times great-grandparents both hailed from the Midwest, since Gam was born here in California.
All right, let's go back and look at the 1880 census, because that would have been the first one for which Ellis was alive.
Right.
One of the interesting things about census records is that you can see the moves that the family makes by where the kids are born.
Victor and Ernest were born in Oregon. Clarence is born in California. Sounds like some sort of wagon train kind of thing. We were in Oakland, California, and things led to Joseph and Mary Dimmock, and we found that their first 2 children were born in Oregon. Joseph Dimmock, born in Ohio, 1842. His mother was Comfort Dean? Comfort, that's a great name. And his dad was Joseph Dimmock, and he's my 3 times great-grandfather.
I'd like to share with you something I found.
The Daily Journal, Oregon Fever.
This is land made available to anyone who can come out. But yeah, to get there, it's not for the faint of heart.
Welcome
a
to
pleasure.
Eastern Oregon.
Thank you so much.
And the Oregon
the
Trail.
Oregon Trail, so this is it.
This is where your family would have come through. I've located a document that I think you might find interesting.
How about that?
Joseph Gregg, who wrote this document, was the nephew of your great-great-great-grandfather, Joseph Dimmick.
Peter suggested I meet with archivist Lane Sawyer to find out if my ancestors actually got their land claim. Such settlement was commenced over 4 years prior to the date hereof. So they worked the land from 54 to 58, and then that meant it became their land, right? Joseph Dimmick died 2 years after he got the land.
We can look at a map of the area so you can get a sense of where he was.
Oh, there's Joseph Dimmick right there.
Yes.
Well, there's where the old farm was, and I can go find it. I stand in their footsteps here. They were tough people. My grandmother was a tough gal, and I think she carried some of this grit that they had. And maybe I got a piece of that, too.